So we talked about what bad nervous system health looks like. It manifests, in different conditions related to stress, like anxiety and depression. It manifests as chronic pain, things like cancer, digestive issues, sleep issues, reproduction issues, lots of things like this. So I want to know, what does good nervous system health look like, and how would you feel differently, and how would it feel to live in a body differently that has good nervous system health?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think the number one word that comes to mind is balance. And along with balance is resiliency. So I think how you know that your nervous system health is good is that you're resilient, because we all experience stress in life every single day. But how do we bounce back? If you're driving in traffic and somebody cuts you off, maybe you flip them off and say, whatever, but then you forget about it 2 seconds later. You don't hold it with you. That's resiliency. You're like, whatever, that guy's, you know what, I'm done. But when you're still thinking about it, you're perseverating about it hours later, like that, whatever guy cut me off. Like, it wasn't about you. It was never about you. The guy's an ass and cut you off, whatever. But when you're still ruminating, that's a good sign that your nervous system is dysregulated. Why are you perseverating on something it's not a big deal? Or, it could be that you get into conflict with somebody and it's relatively minor, or somebody criticizes you at work, and it might be constructive criticism, but again, you just ruminate and obsess over it and can't bounce back from it. And it just feels like your world is breaking down over something pretty minor. That's a really good sign that your nervous system is not in balance. So the opposite is true. If you're able to just shrug things off, almost like you're wearing a coat of armor, and the daggers come and they just fall off, and you just shake it off and don't think about it, your nervous system, your nerve health, your nervous system health is strong, your brain health is strong. And that goes back to feeling like you're generally in balance, generally feeling calm. And I don't mean like sedated calm, because you could also feel really happy, really uplifted, positive, focused. That's a huge thing. Anytime I hear brain fog, which is one of the main complaints I hear about in clinical practice, nervous system is not in balance, or there's no brain fog. Like, mental clarity is huge. But along with mental clarity comes calmness, but also joy, being uplifted, being able to experience happiness and joy, gratitude, all good signs of strong nervous system health. And then again, just more physiologically, well, I guess before this physiological stuff, sleeping, like, are you able to just lay down at the end of the night and fall asleep easily, just not even think about it, just your head hits the pillow and you're asleep? You wake up the next day, you feel refreshed, you feel good, like you're waking up on a schedule. Your circadian rhythm isn't disrupted, meaning you're not staying up super late or waking up super early, but your sleep's pretty good, most of the time. At least when you try to sleep, you sleep. That's a good sign that your nervous system's in balance. And then more of those physiological aspects, like your digestion's good. You can kind of eat whatever you want. A big sign that you're dysregulated is when people start getting more and more and more and more food intolerances or digestive symptoms. Everything they eat, they get gassy, they get bloated, they get abdominal pain. They're not having bowel movements, or everything moves through them and they're going all the time. Something is not right with the nervous system at that point, outside of course, some serious organ issue. But again, I think that's a really clear sign that the nervous system is decompensating. And I've experienced this personally, when you go from not being able to eat one food to now you can't eat two foods. Now, eventually, I've seen so many people back themselves into a corner and they're eating like 5 things, because that's the only things that they're able to eat without getting symptoms. Nervous system is definitely at play in that situation. So being able to eat whatever you want, I mean, within reason, deciding, hey, I know dairy doesn't sit with me super well, but it's summer, I want an ice cream cone, I'm going to eat this thing. Doesn't cause symptoms. It doesn't mean that if you ate it every single day, it wouldn't cause symptoms again, but you're strong enough that that one thing isn't going to set you off, for a week. And same with along with that is hormones and immune health. As a woman, if your cycle's regular, you don't have a lot of cramps, you're not getting a lot of PMS symptoms, no issues with blood sugar regulation, pretty just hormonally everything, you don't really think about where you are in your cycle because it doesn't really matter. That's a good sign that your nervous system is balanced and your stress levels are balanced so that your hormones are in balance. And then the last thing is also related to immune health. You know, if you're not getting, if you're exposed to a lot, let's say you work as a teacher or you work in healthcare and you're exposed to stuff all the time, but you're not getting sick all the time. Great, your immune system's working well. Probably means your nervous system is working well. Or if you clear infections quickly, you bounce back, you might get sick, but it doesn't linger. You don't have all these chronic infections constantly weighing you down. Your immune health is a direct reflection of your neurological health or your brain health, your nervous system health.
Okay. So if you have good nervous system health, you are dealing with life stress well. Yep. You're having good mental clarity. You're feeling calm. You're feeling joyful. You're sleeping well. Your digestion is good. You can eat whatever you want without having to worry about like something's from just eating one thing. Your cycles are regular. They're not stressing you. You're not like bugging out because of PMS. Your immune system is good. This sounds like a dream life.
Exactly. Which is why
Control center.
Nervous system health is so absolutely critical, because when, again, it's the master regulator, it's the master command center of your whole system. So it's how we interface with the world. It's how we interface with everything in our body and outside of our body. So when it's dysregulated, which is talking about a pandemic, that's the issue with our society is because of all of these factors beyond our control, our nervous systems are going haywire, and it's a massive, not epidemic, pandemic. And it's one that, because it's kind of difficult to tack down, it's not so clear, it's idiopathic, it's functional, it's just getting completely overlooked. And it's like, if we focus on that, again, there are specific situations where even with the best nervous system health, things are going to go haywire, but probably anywhere between 85 and 95% of health conditions would go away if the nervous system were strong, regulated, and stress were balanced.
Yeah. And this makes total sense to me, because when I work with clients who have anxiety, they literally have every single one of these symptoms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like all of them.
We didn't even talk about pain. You wouldn't have pain in your body, or you'd have very little pain. Or when the pain came, let's say you twist your ankle, it hurts for a little while and then it goes away. It doesn't become this chronic issue. And now, or this thing that comes back and comes back and comes back, migraines, things like that, like chronic migraines, all of these things, anything with pain is coming from the nervous system, period. There's no pain without a nervous system. So chronic pain is a clear sign. Acute pain, no. Yeah, you break your wrist, it's going to hurt. Okay. Somebody hits you in the head, it's going to hurt. Okay. But chronic, unremitting pain that doesn't go away and that just builds and builds and builds, nervous system is dysregulated 100%.
Yeah. And I just want to say that I think if anyone is living with these conditions, I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, that's just life. You just have to suck it up. But deep down that you don't want to live like this and you don't want to feel like that. And so
you don't have to, I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live like that. And so many doctors are basically like that. Just live with it. And it's like, that's not good enough. I'm sorry. That's not good enough.
So true. So true. That's what doctors told me about my anxiety too. And so I just want to applaud you for being here and for searching right now. And I think the last thing I want to say about this is just, I really resonate, and I think a lot of us do, with the one about like holding on to things, right? Something crappy happens to us and we want to let it go, right? Especially because we know that holding on to that stress affects us physiologically long-term, leading to other health issues down the road. But we just can't, man. Just like ruminate and you like stop thinking about this and you can't. And so I just wanted to share something that always helps me with that, which is this quote. I think it's from Buddha maybe, but it's holding on to anger is like holding on to a hot piece of coal with the intention of throwing it at someone. You're the only one who gets hurt, right? And while that's so true, and on my journey, I really loved Eastern philosophy, it's really hard practically to do that, which is exactly why we developed LUMNA. Like I found for my clients, it was really hard for them to do the things that help them to rebalance their hormones. They need some help, right? Life is just really too overwhelming. And that's why we put together this formula that helps you to get that process started so that it's easier to ease into that. And in another question, you guys will see, I'm going to talk with Dr. J about those ingredients and specifically how it does that.
Good. Great.